slow and steady.
Yeah.
Except for that double kill for Power Evo, but apart from that, we've been able to kind of talk a lot for the first few minutes about matchups and the comps, and then it's just exploding, like all over the place. We just see fights left and right, ton of action. So this game here, as we talked about, bot lane should be heavily in favor of Misfits. Mid lane, Power Weaver looking to just power farm on the KO. And then top lane with the tank up for Alfari here. Will get pushed in again by the Rumble, which is very tricky for the Gragas. But he's looking for potential ganks with this Graves here. Gragas ulti against the Rumble is effective.
Yeah, I want to see if Xerxes or Kakao rather goes for red to red in terms of invade. Maybe Raptors red into red. Or Raptors red into bottom Scuttle Crab into enemy red is something you could definitely do.
Well, on the side of Unicorns of Love, we talked about the very, very strong team fight composition they do have. They don't have a lot of answers in the side lanes. Pure 1v1s. So it's going to be a lot about getting towards that mid lane again, as we've seen so often. 5 members together.
Yeah, Power is running Fervor right now instead of the Storm Raiders.
Okay.
So it's been 50-50 so far for Kayle mids.
Yeah, Caps the first time he played Kayle ran Fervor. Then apparently he was yelled at by one of the one-trick Kales in high elo solo queue in Europe. Changed it over to Storm Raiders instead, adding that extra utility with him. But Fervor is back on the menu. Is still great for overall DPS with the pure attack speed builds. We do see like the Nashor's Rage Blade.
Well, no chance for Kakao to try and steal any buffs away on this bottom side, as Xerxes has beaten him to the punch and Kakao just takes his own red.
Yeah, really important that you start on your weaker side where you get pushed in. We definitely have to track Samek's CS progression here. Ignore and Hansama didn't overpush as hard. It's when they hit level 2 here on once these melees end up dropping. 2 more melees and then they can walk up, but they're stacking a pretty heavy wave. Samex has already lost pretty much a potion equivalent of health.
It's going to be hard for these guys. Talked about how Misfits have the big pushing lane and working well for them. So far, Misfits, they've had their fair share of troubles, even when they have winning lanes, but this time around, it's not that big a deal for them.
We see the same thing from Hansama early on, all the games. Same as Sven did yesterday with their Dorn's Blade start.
Yeah.
So confident in his laning that he doesn't need the 3 potion from the long sword.
Yeah, I'd be confident at this point. If you're playing Zyra Ashe...
I mean, you've been having winning matchups every game, so you should be confident in the laning phase here, if you are Misfits.
And it's because you're so likely that to get a small CS lead that's big enough to the longsword that you don't get outrushed on the Blade of the Ruined King. Not that it's going to happen in the Jhin matchup anyways.
Very true. Yeah.
Bork Jhin.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, after all the changes, we get an Ashe Jhin matchup again. Oh boy.
This is a much weaker Jhin though. It's actually a pick we don't see that often after so many nerfs happened to him. Also lethality kind of fell out of favor as well. And it's hurt him quite a lot. His ulti's not as impactful. Some many carries still consider him a bit of a snowball pick, where if you are getting ahead, using that ulti can be so good with your team to kind of keep forcing these engages and snowball the game. But I'm not a big fan of Jhin personally. Obviously, Sandworks can prove me wrong in this game, 100%.
It's been a big comfort pick for him. I mean, by far his most played champion. Obviously, everybody's been playing a lot of Jhin, but he kind of took it to a whole nother level before the nerfs really started to hit. And
yeah, because it worked really well with the setup Unicorns, are using, where it is teamfight is based around Exile Vizicachi, and then Samex in a more supportive role. He would sit far back, pop the ulti to start the fight, and then the team would kind of follow.
Unicorns try to fight their way out. If you are stuck on a turret, fighting your way out on a cannon wave is what you want to do. That's why Hillsang stepped into the rush for the Q into W combo. Basically, his Q into Samex's W, but Ignar sidestepped the Jhin snare, so there was no follow-up, which means Hansama could return the damage, and now it's just a fight. And you see Devour is not used defensively in this lane. It's used to break the push. They just want to get the reset on the wave and base here because they're so afraid of running out of sustain. That's why they're moving into damage. They probably know the jungler's not here, and they just want to reset the lane.
I really like that trade from Samex down in early game here on the Jhin. And we might just see him go back to what he used to do, as you said, Pyro, where he's the man sitting with the ulti in the back, using that to slow down 1 or 2 targets that allows Exile to then reach those targets when a fight breaks out. You have the Rumble ulti. So there's a lot of things on the Unicorn side you can combine to add slows, which sets up Exile to then get into the backline of the enemy team. There's a high chance that is the goal with the Jhin here.
Yeah, Kakao has literally been sitting in that brush right now for over 20 seconds. Goes into challenge the control ward. He saw...
he wins the fight. Nice one-on-one.
Control ward's not known for fighting back, but this bottom of the map
Yet.
is very, very important.
Just
Those
wait,
changes
one
coming
day.
soon.
They will be tired of being placed in the Baron pit and cleared out over and over.
You know what does fight back right now, Krepo, is that Infernal Drake, and that is a big one. We've been spoiled for Dragons this game. It might be a few minutes before we start to see that contest, but hey, Misfits there looking for a dive on bottom. Samix is all alone.
Yeah, it's a
That would be an
pressure play.
early dive.
Yeah, it's just a pressure play,
He's
counter
not
gank
level
play
6
maybe.
yet.
I think he just wants them to push out, and he's there to make sure they can do it. And then he backs away.
If this was the old days, the 51 CS mark versus 37 would mean you base on a good BF or a BF boots timing, the enemy's stuck on a pickaxe, and you have a massive lane lead. The problem right now with all these budget builds, where you just slap a lot of long swords together, you can't really get that definitive lane lead anymore. So it's no longer about CS timings, as it's more about pushing in the wave and just basing at any given point. If you can get a push reset, you will always win out. Because now, for example, you see Samus and Hylissang pushing back. Hansama's doing the fake base.
Yeah, fake based.
And that gives Ignar sidestone timing, maybe, if he has it, yes, to then move in. And Hansama's not getting threatened. He can just push out now safely himself. And this gives you a map lead for the Misfits.
Does mean obviously that Samix and Hylissang will return to the lane before Ansama, because he's going to recall after he just killed his last minion here.
He should push this out. He should hawkshot push it out, in my opinion.
Well, he's going to play it extremely safe. Double longsword and swiftness boots for Samix here. So not fully investing into damage.
Yeah, but you see, while the Unicorns both run back to bot lane, Ignar is just going to play some vision around this mid lane. Help his mid laner a little bit. And the wave is somewhat neutral. It's a soft push towards the Unicorns on the bottom lane, but it's really not much.
He's finding Exile.
Well, it's going to have to pull away. That's nice
good
and
poke.
easy. Power still able to chase him down for a little bit more.
If you force Vladimir to W early, you can really just get winning poke. And now it's on cooldown for like 12 more seconds, which means Power has the control. Raptors get double warded. Even if one of the wards gets swept, it's really good control here. As long as Ignar doesn't die on the way back.
Yeah. Hylissang might be the one who's in a little bit more trouble. Not that much damage. We're still pre-ultimate levels right now. It's only 7.5 minutes in.
So a lot of control on the bottom side for Misfits, but some of those wards placed in the jungle of Unicorns will get disabled. There's a control ward just around the corner, or at least they're going to let them just run out. Xerxes knows everything is warded.
Yeah.
He knows he's not going to find an easy path down to bottom lane. Even though actually, if you could see what we're seeing,
There's the obvious path, the easiest path.
The one you normally don't take because it's going to be warded is actually open through the Tribe Rush. But now with this level 6 coming for Jhin, let's see if Unicorns want to make a play on this bottom side. They have Rumble Teleport, they have level 6 Rengar, and this is where Jhin ulti is still very strong.
Might be the chance for them to try and make the plays. We've seen the pattern in a lot of these games, slow on the start, but once the action begins, it doesn't stop. Xerxes might be the one to pull the trigger.
I think it's a good call actually from them, at least to try and force a flash.
Call. They got one. Slowing Ignar. He's going to have to force that flash out of Hansama, or that heal and the flash.
Oh! That was so good by Hylissang.
Courage.
Hansama did not get the block. That is really cocky to go for that play, and it works.
It worked though. We've seen some really cool mechanical outplays in these semifinals here. Yesterday as well in G2 Fnatic, Hylissang with the big play. And that shows some of
for that play.
Yeah, but like that shows some of the synergy with this Jhin as well they do have in this bottom lane. And as Pyra said, you know, it's been the champion. Samix has played the most, all split long. I mean, clearly, Hansama is just not expecting, or Ignar is not expecting it.
Because this guy, like, he used Devour, which is usually you're so happy when Hylissang does this, because if he walks up, he can actually devour Ignar and just kill him. And then he goes for the angle. How do you know that your Jhin has the angle? Hansama should be able to step in there.
Well, you can also then turn around and say Ignar can flash it, but he's clearly just not expecting the flash and then for it to hit.
Yeah.
I think Hylissang was trying to finish him off. I do not believe he saw that there was like a 0.2 Teemo's angle on that Jhin W. That is just ludicrous. Regardless, it was an insane play, but
Yeah.
that would put him on like,
Nonetheless,
that
it
would put him
worked.
on like Mata Mod-Life level.
I mean, that was pretty sick, though. And importantly, Samix got that one in the end, so he gets the gold influx. I mean, this Jhin lane, all of a sudden, not looking too bad because the comfort level's there.
I just watched it again on the visual screen, and it's disgusting.
It's actually cool how it's Hilly flashing first and then the W comes after for Samix. So he's actually reacting instantly to the play from Hilly.
Well, if there's one thing you learn from playing with Hylissang is that you at all times should be ready for the unexpected.
Yeah, when he says go, if you say back, he doesn't listen. It's go. You know, it's forward.
It's like, nice, your mic's muted, bro.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear you lagging, I think. Stage problems, the crowd was too loud.
Well, that is definitely the case a lot of the times when Unicorns are on the stage.
It's actually funny because some of the players, you know, so often talk about like support they get from the crowd. You know, Unicorns love with obviously their fan group here, how much it actually means to them to get all that support after every game you've been playing. Because they've been here every single game in the entire split.
Like, we get days off, but these guys,
That's dedication.
there's no days off if you're part of the Love Hurts group.
Unicorns have been showing that love does hurt, but Misfits, they have definitely not lacked for damage in this entire series. And the bottom lane looks really good for Misfits to start things off, but look at that. They even right back up on CS.
Hillesang and Stamux have just been able to honestly, like, almost going to say outplay the laning phase here against Hansama and Ignore in these lanes. Like, Stamux is Jhin.
Wait, Hillsing.
There we go. Ignore, Hansama, nowhere to go right now. They're zoned off. Let's see, one shot connects, the other doesn't. There is a big Zyra ulti, but Xerxes is coming right out of it, turning for Hansama. Chachi, Power of Evil, this is getting real messy as Kakao exhaust on him. Falling forward is Exile, and it looks like Misfits are coming down with a bad case of emo plague.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not over yet, guys.
Hillsang said go, so everybody went. Samux now took the long journey around. 2 for 1 so far.
Barrel knocks Exile right into the wall, but the Flourish is going to connect on Power. He didn't get the stun up. So, Unicorns managed to get 1 or 2 rather and trade one back with Hillesang.
You can set up for Infernal, rotate mid potentially, but then they lose bot, so...
Just get this big wave in the mid lane to the tower so it dies, and then you deny that CS as well. That's what Exile is doing right now.
Maybe force a teleport from Power of Evil. It could be big here. The cooldown.
Same thing we talked about earlier, though, how you can force plays around this Jhin lane with ulti, and that's exactly what they're doing.
So well played. From control ward into enemy brush.
And you already have Exile here.
It's so hard to read.
Exile's already there.
They saw Exile roam probably the Misfits, but they're like, what is this clown gonna do? You know, show up as Vladimir and die. Oh, there's Tom Kench.
Time Kench coming in. Good engage. Exile flashing in, of course, getting that kill, and another one on Hansama. So much pressure near this bottom lane. Really well set up by the Unicorns of Love, and going back to comfort, despite it being a nerfed pick, means that the old playstyle around the bottom lane right now works.
Working out well for them. Unicorns get themselves the gold lead. Now Chachi looking to bait in Hans and Ignar as they're joined by Kakao on this top side. I don't know how much he can do here.
His ulti's still on cooldown. If he had ulti now, this could have been a brilliant play. Sadly, no ulti.
He even moved brushes. He's like, because he knows they're gonna base there.
No, he's still there. He's still waiting.
Yeah, no, but he knows they're gonna base in the first brush. That's why he moved to the second. Nobody ever bases in the second.
Or he was
brush.
afraid they would face take him that early, and his team wouldn't be there to help.
Yeah.
So now, if they actually would face take him in the second one, he would have bought a little bit more time.
Still doesn't have that ult up. Hillesang finding Ignar. Oh, they find him right back. Uh-oh. He's going to flash into the team. He wants to make the play. In comes Exile and Xerxes. Kakao gets an ult out of Power of Evil, but that's going out of time.
Say what you want about Hillsing. This man has no fear. He's going in again.
Once again, Exile was the one on the front line as well. He stays alive. Equalizer.
Who flashes forward there? He's like, I will buy the time. Guys, we need about 4 seconds. I will do the job.
Well, there's backline Time Kenches and there's frontline Time Kenches, and Hillesang definitely belongs to the frontline one.
Yeah.
He's the playmaking Time Kench right now.
He's still there right now, and that's Xerxes going to attack. And Alfari, oh, Ignar around the side, though. Zyra ulti is going to be enough. Alfari knocks him down.
It is, to be fair, though, the most classic Unicorns of Love thing. Oh, we're not done.
Xerxes wants to keep on making the plays. That damage from Rengar trying to get to the blast cone, but he's popped again. The barrel comes down on his head.
Hillesang as a player, Unicorns of Love as a team. Makes him like, never mind, they're gonna kill him.
You're not gonna get any chance to
just kill him anyway.
They take down Power of Evil.
Fighting.
I've given up on guaranteed to give points in between skirmishes. I'm gonna wait for everybody to be in base.
Sometimes you think the skirmish is done, and then you realize that they can get more. See if they can get some damage on this tower.
There's
as well.
always more to get.
But the point I was trying to make there is Hillsing as a player and Unicorns as a team.
Yes.
This is something we see very often from them,
They make so many good things, and then they do have to make that one little move where they overextend. Especially our good friend Hillesang.
Look at last game. They were getting Elder Dragon 5v4, and Hillsang's in a brush. He's like, ha, surprise! It is I who am here. And then he died in the game through Game of Thrones.
Probably the worst gank ever from a Thresh in the 50-minute mark or something. All right.
1v3. My name is Hillsang, and my pocket
nice
pick
juke,
is
very nice juke. Flashes in without any stacks, but
1v4.
He's flashing in for the pressure. Ulti early, Kakao will die.
Like, we're not mocking him. It's actually insane how much pressure he makes on this Tom Kench.
You have to run away from him this early on. If he starts getting multiple stacks from you as an AD carry and you get devoured, you're 100% dead.
This is something Caps was talking about earlier on the desk, how he thinks Exile bluffs in a lot of the matchups. Where if some guy runs at you, the first reaction in competitive play is he must know what he's doing, he must have backup. Hillsang tends to bluff a little bit as well, where he will walk up and is like, you know what, fight me. There's a 95% chance my team's here. Well, or maybe there's an 80% chance my team's here, and the other 20, you don't have the guts to take that fight.
And Unicorn, sometimes bluffing works out well for them, and for another equalizer after picking
that's a
up the
combo.
Dragon, looking for more. Exile stunned up or rooted up.
And that's going to be their late game teamfight combo. It's going to be the equalizer into diving Vladimir plus Xerxes diving in, and then from the back, Samux will snipe him down.
And that's actually going to be so effective against Kayle and Ashe. Like, none of them have gap closes. So both of them have to also stand still to really deal a lot of their damage.
And the Misfits, they also went from 1 million shields to 1. They only have that Kayle shield right now. So the AoE is super efficient against their comp.
It's lock-up time.
Let's lock it. On Zyra, I think you just go AP.
Nah, you go Redemption at least.
Yeah, Redemption into lock it.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. The full damage support Zyra.
It's gone.
It's not really a thing. Unless you're trying to carry the game 1v9.
I don't think we're at that point yet. Ignar still had his fair share of clutch ultimates, though.
Now, we talked about, this split pushing Kayle here and how the matchup against Vladimir, it's not because Kayle ulti is great against Vladimir ulti specifically, because it's an AoE and Kayle ulti is only good on one target. It's more the laning phase gets, like towards the first item, which is the Nash's Tooth here, and then you can go to side lane with teleport, and you can start just farming, and split pushing. It is still very slow, and that's kind of the problem of it, because Unicorns of Love and their composition, like their late game as well, is extremely strong. So Vladimir's scaling is fantastic. We just saw the Rumble plus Jhin combination, what they can do against Ashe Kayle in a backline. Unicorns of Love are not going to have a point in this game where they're going to be extremely weak.
No, that's true, and in all honesty, it's looking great for the Unicorns to start things off as Exile looking to add to his kill counter right now. Goodbye, Hans Sama, and hello, Xerxes, tagging his way in for Cacao Alfari, trying to make his escape, and Unicorns aren't letting up this pressure.
Unicorns will dive you in your base, even when tier 1 is up.
It's so fun to play AD carry sometimes. When that happens, like, what's your counterplay?
My bad, guys. I should have hugged my Nexus tower.
I should not have left the base. I am sorry.
Here they go, round 2. Ignar a little bit low. Alfari, though, is the target of
That one is dead cops.
They are on top of everything, looking at those tier 2s as they finish off the tier 1. However, Chachi does get shut down.
The Misfits are completely falling apart. Unicorns of Love are showing the same gameplay pattern over and over. We see you, we kill you, we will dive you, but they're just not able to deal with it. Power of Evil with the late Kayle ulti as well. Like, this is a guy who can prevent death with his ultimate, and it comes out after 2 of his teammates have already fallen.
Oh, Unicorns of Love showing great comfort with this composition. Long range snipes from 2 members, the dive from Exile. Welcome to being an AD carry sometimes. There really is no counterplay for you.
Yep.
Heal, flash, it was all used.
And he walks away.
Hillsang brings in Samux, and then just look at the damage Ignar's going to take and how far he's actually removed from the fight.
Throw down the equalizer. I mean, they just have so many weapons here.
Flashes out, he does everything right. Like, this guy did nothing wrong. He hides behind Cacao, turns out Flame Splitter goes through. Double kill for Vizichachi, and here's the ulti.
It's just so well played by Unicorns of Love. How they know exactly when they can go aggressive here. Exile diving in alone at first. Being like, yeah, it's just a Zyra, like she can't protect the Ashe at all, so I'm gonna get this kill. Really, really well played by Unicorns of Love, and 2.5k gold ahead now. Got the Infernal Drake as well. Bot lane fight though.
Have recognized the threat here. Chachi, 1v3, no way he's gonna get one out of this. They respect it, but Alfari in the end finishes him off. That was a lot of damage he was dealing.
Cross-mapping top lane. From the Unicorns of Love, we'll get the tower, so they're gonna trade turrets, but a kill in favor of Misfits, because they were the ones going aggressive first.
But his kill is not allowed to ramp up. Yes, it beats Vladimir. No, it does not beat a 4-0 Vladimir. That was a bit of the problem. His Kayle needed the snowball to
It's
be
too slow.
on the side lanes too.
We've seen it 3 games now. 1 game, it got early kills. That was Fnatic's game with Caps getting it. He got like 2 items in no time and just solo won the game. The 2 other times we've seen this Kayle here, it's not been getting quick enough towards her items, and her team is just losing around her.
Ooh. Ignar, I don't know how he stayed alive that long, to be honest, but Exile just gets himself a 5th, then he gets out, courtesy of Hylissang.
This Tahm Kench, it's paying off. It did not get hit hard enough in laning phase. Samux and Hylissang honestly making a good case for MVP, just breaking these weak matchups open, allowing Unicorns to draft strong around their top side consistently, taking a hit in the bottom lane, and then still surviving the bot lane.
I mean, I think it's always that debate between picking these melee supports who shine outside of laning phase. A lot of duo lanes don't want to do it because they don't want to lose laning phase and lose the first tower. But if you know now after 4 games that you're not going to lose this lane, obviously they can continue doing it. Let's see the fight again. Exile is just doing whatever he wants. The fight. I mean, let's see this brutal gank.
Yeah, Ignore. Exile, Vegetarian, Vladimir takes the plant down.
Boo.
I gotta get one freak in there.
I'm actually sad the crowd didn't join me there.
Allowed the one.
You.
Actually, I've never been booed. No, I have, actually.
Can we boo Crepo, everyone? No? No one wants to boo Crepo?
Try it. I guess you have to try again next time, Deficio.
We can get him to laugh instead.
Yeah, there we go.
Clearly
All
the crowd likes you, Crepo.
So, let's get back into this one. There's another Infernal Drake coming back up. I'm trying to save Deficio here. Stop laughing, Crepo.
Hey, I'm not doing anything.
Hold
it's
on
the
a
crowd.
second. Invulnerable for just a second. Exile, though, is still on the chase. Hemoplague, but now he's being turned back around. He just can't close the
damage.
That's disgusting.
Exile still gets the kill. They get everything. Cacao's going down. Unicorns want this big time.
And this must make Sheepy and Romain and everybody who's backstage so happy because Unicorns, they make it out of playoffs, but they do it in a different fashion as usual. Usually, they creep their way into playoffs. Now, they're in the first place in Group B. They come in as the highest seed and they have a very convincing performance here against the Misfits.
And the Exile that died in lane a few times in the last few games. None of that happened in this one, and now he's 7-0 on this Vladimir.
Like, they're on the verge of heading into Hamburg to play the finals against G2. And not even that much as an underdog.
No, I mean, this is huge right now. We don't normally see the Unicorns coming in so hot, but they were definitely prepared for this series, and it is looking great right now. Exile!
He's winning the battle of Faker. Who's the German Faker? Turns out Exile is their Faker.
It's their Faker, yeah. Good, good.
And that was after he had some rough games against Power of Evil.
It doesn't matter. Results.
All good.
Power Evil also went Wit's End in this game here to get the MR clearly, but it's gonna really hurt his damage compared to getting Rage Blade. So he's delayed even more in terms of him becoming this late game carry. And to me, I feel like the Vladimir will just be almost as good in the late game fight. Will probably be even better in the team fight because
especially
of the AoE
if you look
damage.
who he has to dive. Kale, Ashe, and
Yeah,
Tyra. He can get all 3 at once.
And he has always the Rumble ulti to assist him.
Baron buff, 2 Infernals, huge siege on the way for Unicorns. I mean, in what world can Misfits come back from this?
Well, the first game did happen, but I really feel like that was like just that first game on stage where you had to just kind of get used to it if you're the Unicorns of Love, and they have corrected so many mistakes and they're going in.
Yeah, they want to try to end this one as early as possible right now. In goes Chachi right into the back line. Exile coming up legendary. And everything's looking peachy for the Unicorns as they're trying to drive through into the base. Misfits are melting.
It's only 23 minutes and a half into game and Inhib is falling and they may just go for the final push. What a dominating performance here from the Unicorns.
Back-to-back huge long games that went real late. Lots of scaling on all sides, but it has not lacked for action. One Nexus turret's gonna fall. Unicorns are gonna find themselves another Ignar and Alfari trying to hold the line here.
They got Ansama alive, he's on his way to try and defend, but the Nexus turret, it's right open.
That's all they gotta do. They just need a few more autos, but they are going to back off. Those death timers are not long.
Yeah, they obviously know how much it matters to them. They could have potentially ended, but they know if they base on an 11,000 gold lead.
And they also know that they've tried in the past to rush down this Nexus, and then it backfired. They played it very safely. There were still 8 seconds on Power of Evil and 3 seconds on Cacao when they stepped away.
Oh.
You can't really fault them,
LCS, yes. Scrims for sure. For a ticket to the finals in Hamburg, you know what?
Safe. Play it
One more
safe.
base.
So, fight again. I mean, it's just the same combo. Backline.
Yeah, but Samus again, he just nails these deadly flourishes constantly, and then Vizichachi can go in, or the Vladimir. There's so much just backline dive, AoE threats that force Power of Evil and Hansama to constantly like sidestep and walk out of the fight.
Again, it's what we said, you know, Unicorns going back to some comfort for them. And it's been working so well. You see how good they are at executing this composition here. Sheepy always talks about, you know, comboing multiple things together. So Snare from Jin plus a Rumble ulti is something they've been practicing also. But then another fight here, but Exile, he's getting out.
Yeah, Limbo's underneath those skill shots. The Sanguine pool, and right now it's a 1-4. Nexus turret's open. They're playing it by the book. Apparently, the Unicorns concede to macro only when
I think they've done that a few times
No,
this
no,
series.
conventional macro.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
so they definitely do use macro, but they see it to the convention closing ability here in the late game. Exile going in.
They might just be able to dive it all in. It started on Exile, though he's got no more pool left, but he does have some backup. They may get the shutdown, but will it be enough? Misfits low on the health bars. The curtain call is calling, and that's gonna be a few more taken out. Alfari,
Of course it's Hylissang back there.
That's the only ones left.
Hylissang's
That's
backdooring
not the
Nexus
one.
alone.
That's the double kill. That's it. It was a big series, but Unicorns will not be denied, and they are heading to the finals 2 years in